The story is set on the Mexican border. It features a man named Bryant, who works in construction. Bryant lives in a secluded house, and every morning, he diligently practices physical and martial arts. Not only that, but he also sharpens his martial arts knowledge, which he has mastered over time. However, every time he practices, there is a teenager named Oscar who secretly observes Bryant's movements. Oscar does this nearly every day before heading to school. After finishing his training, Oscar hurries to school to avoid being late. Upon arriving at school, it's revealed that Oscar is a high school student in the 3rd grade who will soon be graduating. Meanwhile, Bryant spends his afternoons working. In a turn of events, after returning from school, Oscar is confronted by a group of gangsters known as the L-17, with one of their members named Flacco. Oscar has been repeatedly extorted by Flacco and, fed up with the situation, he decides to evade them. Luckily, Oscar manages to elude them, causing Flacco and his gang to lose track of him. Bryant, who happens to be eating at a restaurant, witnesses Oscar hiding from the L-17 gangsters. In the evening, Oscar's house is unexpectedly visited by Flacco and the gang. They are still angry with Oscar for running away earlier in the day. Flacco demands that Oscar pay him until Oscar's brother, who is the leader of the L-17 gang, returns from America. As it turns out, Oscar's biological brother is the gang's leader, and he's currently in the United States. Flacco also threatens not to report the incident to Oscar's brother. The next morning, as usual, Oscar continues to secretly observe Bryant's movements. However, this time, Bryant catches him. Surprisingly, Bryant isn't upset or angry. Instead, he offers to teach Oscar and train with him. From that point on, Oscar is trained in physical conditioning and learns some of Bryant's basic martial arts techniques. Oscar becomes eager to practice every day and continues training with Bryant for nearly 4 months. Meanwhile, Flacco continues to extort money from Oscar while his brother remains in the United States. Oscar learns that his brother, Hector, is the leader of the L-17 gang. However, when Hector is absent, Flacco often mistreats Oscar. One day, while Oscar and Bryant are practicing, they are approached by Flacco's car. Flacco arrives with Hector, who is the captain of the L-17 gang. Hector is not pleased with Oscar hanging out with Bryant and believes that Bryant may be an undercover cop. He questions why Oscar doesn't spend time with Flacco instead. Oscar responds that he'd rather be with Bryant. The next morning, after Hector forbids Oscar from seeing Bryant, Oscar decides to visit a gym specializing in mixed martial arts and boxing. His dream is to become a professional boxer. There, he meets Mary Soul, the gym owner's daughter. One night, Oscar joins Hector and the L-17 gang, including Flacco, to watch a free boxing fight. During the fight, Oscar notices an undefeated fighter named the Collector. Oscar climbs into the ring and challenges the Collector. To everyone's surprise, Oscar uses the martial arts techniques taught by Bryant and defeats the Collector in less than 3 minutes, without getting hit. Hector is proud of Oscar, and Flacco is too shocked to extort Oscar further. The following day, Oscar brings the L-17 gang to Bryant's house, much to Bryant's dismay. Oscar had not contacted Bryant for a week and suddenly showed up with the gang. Hector explains that he wants Bryant to retrain Oscar to become a professional boxer. Hector reveals that Oscar's brother, Hector, is now interested in his brother's success. Bryant refuses to help and asks them not to come back. Hector tries to offer Bryant money in exchange for retraining Oscar, but Bryant still refuses. Hector attempts to threaten Bryant with a gun, but Bryant quickly turns the tables. He instructs them, including Oscar, never to return. The scene shifts to a lawyer named Kyra Golf, who is called after someone sends him a video. The lawyer watches the video and is shocked. He rushes to meet his client. In the prison, there is a high-class mafia boss named Sonny Kilbin. He is taken to a room where the lawyer is waiting for him. The lawyer shows Sonny a viral video of Oscar's fight that focuses on the martial arts moves he learned from Bryant. It's revealed that Sonny has been targeting Bryant for a long time. Sonny immediately orders the lawyer to hire a skilled hitman to track down Bryant. He believes that Bryant is hiding near the Mexican border because of the video. It remains a mystery who Bryant truly is, but a high-profile mafia boss like Sonny is after him. The next day, Oscar and Hector are at Mary Soul's gym, where they are approached by 2 men claiming to be boxing promoters. However, Hector believes they are actually hitmen searching for Bryant. They inquire about Oscar's teacher, Bryant, and show his picture. Hector becomes suspicious and kicks the men out. Oscar pleads with his brother to inform Bryant about the situation. Hector eventually agrees to go with Oscar and Mary Soul to Bryant's house. Upon arriving at Bryant's house, Marisol and Oscar go inside to meet Bryant. Hector and his two men wait in the car. Oscar informs Bryant about the two men looking for him. Bryant recognizes them as ruthless hitmen who are the most dangerous in America. He believes their primary goal is to find him. Bryant instructs Marisol and Oscar to enter the house immediately. He believes that the hitmen have already arrived. When Bryant tells Hector and his men to come inside, they are suddenly attacked by the hitmen. Two of Hector's men are shot and killed by the hitmen using rifles. Hector rushes into the house and confronts Bryant about his true identity, as it appears the hitmen are targeting him. Bryant finally reveals that he is a special police captain who has worked with the LAPD and DEA. He has been assigned to take down high-profile mafia figures. Bryant had successfully arrested Sony, but Sony's men have continued to pursue him, even though Sony is now in prison. Marisol suggests that the hitmen may have learned about Bryant through the viral video of Oscar's fight. Bryant is frustrated with Oscar but acknowledges that the situation has already unfolded. Meanwhile, one of the hitmen fetches gasoline to burn down Bryant's house, while the other readies to shoot. Bryant asks Hector to create a diversion by moving toward the bulletproof glass in the next room. In just 1 minute, the plan works, and one of the hitmen is killed. Not long after, the brother of one of the twins arrived with the gasoline that he had taken from the car. Bryant inquired if the person who had hired them was Sony, but the person remained silent. Bryant then poured gasoline on the person's body while threatening to set him on fire. Unfortunately, the person refused to speak, maintaining his professionalism as a hitman. As a last resort, the person took out a lighter, choosing to burn himself to death. Afterward, Bryant went back inside and told Hector and the others to leave immediately. He was concerned that there might be more hitmen outside. For their safety, Bryant guided them into a tunnel beneath the house. While in the tunnel, Hector asked about Bryant's enemy, who was targeting him. Bryant revealed that the person after him was Sony, a high-class mafia boss, who also held a high-ranking position in the police force. Bryant explained that he had spent 12 years uncovering some of Sony's crimes. During this time, he had to go undercover within the Mafia for 7 years. He also revealed that he had pretended to harm his own wife to protect her from Sony's men. Bryant's wife had been tortured, but he managed to rescue her. However, fearing further danger, he had orchestrated a separation to keep her safe. When Bryant reached the end of the tunnel, he instructed Hector and the others to leave, and he returned to his house. A few days later, Hector and his men attempted to visit Bryant's house, but they discovered that Bryant had already left. Bryant had cleaned up the scene from the previous night, making it appear as if nothing had occurred. Hector returned home and met with Oscar, who was with Marisol. Hector assured Oscar that Bryant would be fine, and he encouraged Oscar to continue training diligently. He didn't want Oscar to waste the martial arts skills he had learned from Bryant. However, during one of Hector's visits to L-17's territory, some of his men were eliminated. It was revealed that Alex, a corrupt policeman whom Bryant had released the previous night, was responsible. Alex and his men took Hector for interrogation. Hector was questioned about Bryant's whereabouts, but he claimed not to know. As a result, Alex ordered his men to cut off one of Hector's ears. Suddenly, one of Alex's men was shot, and it was revealed to be Bryant. In a tense standoff, Bryant told Alex that he had many opportunities to deal with him. Bryant eliminated Alex and some of his men before escaping when his gun ran out of bullets. Alex's remaining men continued to chase Bryant. Bryant managed to elude his pursuers, and he returned to Hector. Hector was impressed by Bryant's abilities, and they safely made their way out. Oscar and Marisol had been walking to Bryant's house to check if he had left. Oscar was attacked, but it turned out to be the DEA police, including Eric, who were there to assist and protect Bryant. Eric revealed that he had been taught the same martial arts as Oscar by Bryant. Eric asked about Bryant's current location, as the hitmen were still pursuing him. Oscar mentioned Eric's name, surprising Bryant when he learned that Eric had defected to Sony's side. Eric confiscated Oscar's cell phone, raising concerns about Oscar and Marisol's safety. Meanwhile, Bryant was on his way to take Hector home. Hector inquired about how Bryant managed to infiltrate and dismantle a high-profile mafia organization led by a police general like Sony. Bryant explained that it took time and careful planning. He also disclosed that Sony was involved in illegal arms trading and human trafficking. Sony had been sentenced to life in prison but continued to operate from within the prison. Bryant's wife had been in danger, so he had faked domestic violence to protect her. As they approached the end of their journey, Hector mentioned that Oscar and Marisol had been taken by Eric's troops, and he expressed concern about their safety. Bryant's plan was to reunite with his wife, who had been separated from him for years. A few days later, Sony was seen being apprehended by the police. The movie ended with Bryant preparing to confront Sony, bringing his story to a thrilling conclusion.